Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Photography. I am Dr. NIK NIKAM, and today we are going to look at making some subtle changes in a picture using Lightroom. This picture was actually downloaded from a Facebook posting from a friend of mine who had made a trip to Europe. And you have to understand the resolution of this picture is not great, but let us see what we can do with this picture. First we go to develop, then we're going to look at all the various options and play with them and see what makes the difference. First of all, we can play with the temperature since we want the sky to look blue, and we can try see if we can make it a little bit blue, but it makes the entire picture blue, so I'm just going to leave it there. And I'm going to leave the temperature there, and I can play with the exposure. I think the exposure is okay as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't matter. Contrast is something we can do to improve the color differentiation between various segments of this picture. We will just leave it a modest contrast, this one like 12. Then we're going to proceed with the next option, which is highlights. Then we can just move the highlights back and forth and see if we see any changes. I don't see anything appreciable here, and we're just going to leave it there. Then we can look at the shadows. And when you're looking at shadows, we are particularly interested in these areas where we see some reflections, and see if we can intensify those reflections. And the shadows don't make a big difference. It makes it a little bit sharper, maybe minus. Okay, we'll leave it there, and we go to whites. There's not too many whites here. The only white building here we see is this one. The white is not going to make a big difference, so I will just leave it where it is. And blacks make some difference. We have some black here. Let's see what happens. Okay, I think the black did bring up some important features, that is, made the water darker and made this roof look a little bit darker. Okay, so let's move on to the next option, the overall clarity of the image. Let's see if we can change this. See, the image becomes blurry, and somewhere along here is where we get a little clear picture. Minus 15. I would just leave it around 6. See if we can change the vibrance. Yeah, I think the vibrance made a dramatic difference in this picture. As you can see, all these buildings are becoming more visible with their primary colors. I left the vibrance, and you just play with it and see how far it makes a difference, and then we'll see if we can enhance those colors on top of that. Saturation is something which will just increase the concentration of each color in the image, and if you can see here, as you can see, it's increasing the image, which is already making it look better, but this may be way too much. So what we'll do is we'll just use about 30% concentration, and now the blue skies are looking bluer, the yellow walls are looking brighter, and same thing with the green walls. So that looks pretty good. So some people use this tone curve, but there are different approaches. Now we're going to go on to the individual colors. That's what I'm interested in, because this picture has so many different primary colors. So first we're going to play with the red color and see how we can use this to improve some of the changes. I don't know if you can see, watch these red tiles and see if you can see the difference. This is where it was to start with. If you go this side, they become light, and if I come here all the way 100%, I like that one, because now the red tiles look like brand new red tiles at the top of these buildings. Okay, now let's see what orange can do. We're just looking at the hue. It is divided into hue, saturation, and luminance. So let's work on each one of these, because those are the most important things as far as this particular image is concerned. And I like this one. So this is making it even better and make the tiles look richer. And same thing with the letters here, red ones or orange ones. So I would like to leave it there. Yellow, I think yellow is something I want to increase. Either we can do it this way or we can do it this way. I would just leave it maybe just a few points yellow, so that these colors are becoming much more visible from a distance. Actually, green, there's not a whole lot of green except for this one particular wall, and see if we can saturate that, increase the hue on that wall. Oh, beautiful. I like this one. I like this. Now it looks clean and crisp and clear. Aqua is the water or the sky. See how we can improvise. It's not a much change when we move the aqua, so I would just not worry about it. My most important thing is the blue. I want to get the sky blue, but we don't want it to, I want the sky to look just about blue like this. That's beautiful. So about 10 plus. Purple, I don't know if you have any purple color that we can accent here, so there's not a whole lot. I don't want to worry about it. Magenta, it's not a whole lot of magenta. Now we're going to move on to the next section, saturation. Saturation is where it just enhances the intensity of each color in a segment. So let's start with the red one. If we increase the saturation, and as you can see, if I reduce the saturation, you can see it's dull, and if I increase the red saturation, and I like that, I think it's 75%. Now the roofs are really standing up, where you can see. Same thing with the orange. We can increase the orange. It gives it's red, but it's giving a little orange tinge and make it look like natural. Next, yellow. We're going to increase the saturation of yellow colors, and it is clearly making these buildings stick out more prominently, especially their walls. There's nothing in the green aqua. We're going to go to the blue saturation. We're going to increase the blue saturation, and I love this one. This is what I would like to see. Now look at the contrast between the yellow, green, and red with the blue skies. So let's see if there's anything with the purple. They said there was nothing here, magenta, nothing here. Now we come into luminance. That's the radiant feature of this one. See if we can change this luminance. I like the luminance because you see some sheen or shine on these tiles now, compared to when it was like this. It was kind of flat, so now you can see some shine. Orange is the same thing. We can increase that. I like that one because now it is becoming brighter compared to the previous settings. And now we're going to yellow. I like this one. See how clear it's like the wall was repainted. Same thing with the yellow and the green. We don't have green aqua. We don't have blue. Is something we need to increase the luminance. I like that one because now it looks like a natural blue sky. Only thing missing here are a few clouds, and I'll show you how we can put clouds in that also. Magenta is nothing there. Then overall hue, we can try to, it's not a whole lot. And now we are going to sharpening. We can try to see if we can sharpen these image edges. Okay, just a little bit works, so that's pretty good. Noise reduction, so let's bring it up. Just pay attention, and I think the image becomes a little more clear when we use the noise reduction. And I think these things should be okay. So this, we see a dramatic difference from what it was before. I'm satisfied with this, and I'm going to show you before and after pictures. So let me go to the library and let me export this, and I'll tell you the second step what I'm going to be doing. Say Lightroom touchup. Just remember the name so we can pull up this picture for the second phase, and we'll export it to the Lightroom touches folder. So here we have, so let's minimize this, which is we started off with this image. So this was the image we started off, and Lightroom touchup, that's the one we have worked on so far. So here you can look at the two different images, but I have one more step to go, and I will show it to you. Okay, that's the image. So now you can see a difference between the original picture and this one. What a big difference. Brighter, bluer skies, bright walls, and a darker water reflections. Okay, let's not get too excited. Let's go to the second phase. That's where we have to go to Google and look at some clouds PNG. We need PNG so that it has no background, just clouds. So if you click on this, and if you click on this, you have to see that grid. When you see a grid like this, you can save these images, and then you can bring it into using Photoshop. I already have 2 of these clouds, so let's move on to our second phase. That's where we're going to bring up a Photoshop. All right, we have a Photoshop. Now I want to drag this image, which I have, which is the LRTU, Lightroom touchup, which we did. Now we have this image. It already has my logo also. The next step I'm going to do is drag these couple of clouds which I have copied from Google Images, and we're going to resize this for a second. And put them here. Maybe it's too big because I want to put another cloud. And we can play with this, whatever we want to do. And say OK. Now all of a sudden you got some bright clouds, but maybe they are too bright. So we go to clouds here and change the opacity. That kind of blends more with the blue background, so we'll leave it there. Say OK. Now I want to bring up the second cloud I have. It's here. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the second cloud I have. I'm going to reduce the size and drag it here. All right, so there you got, and we're going to leave this cloud. We're going to move this one away, and this cloud looks like it is farther away from this particular cloud. And if you want to change this to kind of match with the other cloud, we can go back and maybe even reduce the stuff to this one, and we can even resize this to kind of match with that one, and say click OK, and there we have it. So there's the beautiful clouds, and I am just going to save this as a JPEG so we can compare. LRTU. Now we're going to make a JPEG, and I'm going to save this one. I will make it 2 because we may already have a JPEG there from the previous one. So make this LRTU2 JPEG, save it. It's 2.4 megabytes. That's fine. Let's close this one, and let's go for before and after. This is our picture before. Now let's bring up the picture LRTU number 2. Now LRTU2 with the clouds. Now here is the second picture. There you have it, gentlemen. Let me minimize this. There you have it, gentlemen. This was the picture which I got from the Facebook, and this is the finished product with clouds and beautiful accentuation of colors and the water reflections. I hope you like this one, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Dr. NIK NIKAM, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching Triple N Photography.